The frigid air of New York City was electric with excitement. Times Square bustled with tourists and locals alike, all bundled up in coats, scarves, and gloves, eagerly awaiting the countdown to 2025. The towering screens blazed with vibrant colors, and the cacophony of music, laughter, and chatter filled the air. It was a night of celebration, a night meant for joy. But for Mia and her friends, the night would become a descent into terror. Mia, Jake, and Lena had arrived early to secure a good spot to watch the ball drop. It was their first time experiencing New Year's Eve in Times Square, and they were determined to make it unforgettable. They had spent hours surrounded by the crowd, sipping hot chocolate and sharing stories to pass the time. By 11:30 p.m., the energy in the square was palpable. The countdown was nearing, and the crowd grew more boisterous with every passing minute. Amid the celebration, Mia noticed something strange. Across the square, a man stood unnaturally still, his face obscured by the shadow of a hood. Unlike everyone else, he didn't cheer or clap. He just stood there, motionless, staring in their direction. "Do you see that guy?" Mia whispered to Jake, nudging him. "He's been standing there for a while." Jake followed her gaze but shrugged. "Probably just a weirdo. It's New York, after all." But Mia couldn't shake the unease that crept over her. The man's stillness seemed out of place amidst the chaos. She turned to Lena, who was busy taking selfies. "Lena, doesn't that guy look suspicious?" Lena squinted toward the man. "Yeah, he's creepy. But come on, it's New Year's. Don't let some random dude ruin the vibe." Mia tried to dismiss her anxiety, but the man's presence lingered in the back of her mind. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, the crowd began to chant. 10. 9. 8. Amid the chanting, Mia glanced back at the man. He was gone. Her heart raced. She scanned the crowd, but there was no sign of him. She turned to Jake and Lena. "He's gone. The creepy guy, he's not there anymore." "Good riddance," Jake said, but Mia's unease only deepened. 3. 2. 1. Happy New Year. The square erupted in cheers as confetti rained down. Fireworks lit up the sky, and couples kissed while friends embraced. But Mia couldn't celebrate. Something felt wrong. A sudden, piercing scream cut through the festivities. The jubilant crowd fell silent, heads turning in the direction of the sound. A woman near the edge of the square was pointing upward, her face pale with terror. Mia followed her gaze and gasped. On one of the massive screens, the image had changed. Instead of fireworks or advertisements, it displayed a close-up of the hooded man. His face was still hidden, but his hand slowly lifted to point directly at the camera. Then, words appeared beneath him in blood-red letters: "The final countdown begins." Panic rippled through the crowd. People murmured in confusion, some laughing nervously, thinking it was a prank. But the screen flickered again, and now a timer appeared, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. The clock was counting down. "What the hell is this?" Jake muttered, gripping Mia's arm. Before anyone could react further, the lights in Times Square flickered and died, plunging the area into darkness. The crowd erupted into screams. Mia's heart pounded as she clung to Jake and Lena. "Stay together," she shouted over the chaos. The screens flickered back on, casting an eerie glow over the square. The timer continued to count down, 57 minutes and 43 seconds. The hooded man was gone, replaced by grainy footage of empty streets and dark alleys. A distorted voice crackled through the speakers: "Your celebration is over. Welcome to the new year, if you survive." Panic spread like wildfire. People pushed and shoved, desperate to escape, but the exits were blocked by thick, impenetrable fog that had appeared out of nowhere. The air grew colder, and the sound of distant footsteps echoed through the square. "This can't be real," Lena whispered, her voice trembling. "We need to get out of here," Mia said, her breath visible in the freezing air. She scanned the area, searching for any way out. Her eyes landed on a maintenance door partially hidden behind a stage setup. "There," she said, pulling her friends toward it. They squeezed through the panicking crowd and reached the door. Jake yanked it open, and the three of them slipped inside. The noise of the crowd faded as they found themselves in a dimly lit hallway. The fluorescent lights buzzed ominously. "Where does this lead?" Lena asked, her voice echoing. "No idea," Jake admitted. "But anywhere is better than out there." They ventured deeper into the hallway, the timer's ominous ticking still audible, as if it followed them. 48 minutes and 15 seconds, suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. The hallway plunged into darkness. Mia fumbled for her phone, turning on the flashlight. The beam cut through the shadows, revealing graffiti-covered walls and damp floors. A low, guttural growl echoed from somewhere ahead. "Did you hear that?" Lena whispered, her eyes wide with fear. "Yeah," Jake said, his voice tight. "Keep moving." They hurried forward, the growling growing louder. Mia's flashlight flickered, and she smacked it in frustration. When the light stabilized, a figure loomed at the end of the hallway. It was the hooded man. "Run!" Mia screamed. They turned and sprinted back the way they came, but the hallway seemed endless. The air grew colder, their breaths coming in ragged gasps. The sound of footsteps chased them, growing closer with each second. Finally, they burst through another door, finding themselves in a cavernous, abandoned subway station. The timer loomed on a screen above the platform, 35 minutes and 22 seconds. "We're running out of time," Lena cried. The hooded man's voice echoed through the station, "You cannot escape. The new year demands its sacrifice." Suddenly, the ground shook, and the distant sound of a train roared through the tunnels. But this was no ordinary train. Its headlights glowed red, and its wheels screeched like tortured metal. The hooded man appeared on the platform, pointing at them. "It's him or us," Jake said, grabbing a metal pipe from the ground. "We're not dying tonight." As the demonic train barreled closer, Mia, Jake, and Lena prepared to fight for their lives, knowing that the new year would bring either their salvation, or their doom.